Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system.
Okay, once again, I want to thank everybody for being here. This is an exciting time for me when you show up. You who are here, you who are watching this and listening to it, you're the source of the inspiration. You're what brings this out of me to do this. So I get very enthused just seeing you, knowing that you'll be watching this, be listening to this, benefiting from it. This is what draws out the inspiration and the knowledge. Today, very interesting topic that we're going to apply the Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system to. And the topic is jealousy and romance. Okay, jealousy and romance. So first, what I'm going to do is start off by describing the romantic experience. All relationships deal with the love, the romance, deal with jealousy in varying forms. So I'm going to capture the romantic experience through a series of poems, and I'll attempt to give a commentary on each of the poems. And we're going to go then into the mind-body workout system as a way of overcoming our fear of the intimacy of the romantic experience, and then also a way of dealing with jealousy. You are the poem of my being, the source of my seeing. You are more than anything I have ever sought. You rejoice me completely. It's a poetic way of talking of the romantic experience. You are more than anything I have ever sought. You rejoice me completely. And this particularly applies in the falling in love phase, when people fall in love. And even after people have been together, there's still reawakenings of that feeling. You rejoice me completely. Although typically issues will arise in a relationship as time goes by that are not necessarily pleasant, but have to be dealt with. But there is also that aspect of being totally rejoiced by the other person in a romantic sense. The tender flow of life makes me caress your gentle beauty and feel the poignant river of your being in time and beyond. So seeing the beauty is a very common aspect of the romantic experience, is to see the beauty of that person. It could be in the eyes, could be in the hair, could be in the fragrance of the other person, in the touch. And feel that poignant river of your being in time and beyond. So the romantic experience does have some kind of timeless dimension to it, where that feeling of connection, of love, takes us through an eternity, some feelings of this is something eternal. People feel like that love always was, always will be. There is that sense that people have. Now, we're not talking about reality in a practical sense. We're talking now in a romantic sense. And feel the poignant river of your being in time and beyond. You deliver me from myself, for without you I am a victim of my own oppression. So in a romantic experience is often feeling, well, this is saving me from myself. I have these different negative feelings, I have different issues going on. But when I'm with you, you deliver me from myself. I'm no longer a victim of my own oppression. When I'm with you, I forget about my problems. It's sort of like, in a practical sense, being on vacation. You know, just seeing that person, you feel uplifted, and other things sort of fall into perspective that become small, particularly when you're really getting along and as that romantic experience is very alive. Now, we all know that other aspects happen. We all know that other aspects happen in the relationship that might later detract from that. But that's okay. The whole idea is to come back into it. You deliver me from myself, for without you I'm a victim of my own oppression. That's the romantic experience. It actually brings us out of ourselves. We're not a victim of our own thoughts that keep us at a very mundane and uncomfortable level. The storms and seas are calmed. The winds are soothed by your glance. So the glance of the beloved, just the eye contact, just having the attention of the person that we're in love with, just the attention itself, whatever's going on within us, calms down. It's that powerful a feeling. Some people would call it a taste of the eternal, an aspect of what relationship is with a supreme being or God. It's a taste of that on earth with somebody that we're in love with here. The storms and seas are calm, the winds are soothed by your glance. Just the look of the eye itself will then have this kind of magical effect. The rain falling at dawn, I say your name. Rain's falling, the lover's thinking of the beloved, it's falling down. reflecting, and there's that sense in the mood, and the rain's part of that mood of that love. For me, there is no place that you are not. So wherever the person is, they think of their beloved. People even walking by look like the beloved. That person looks just, oh, it's you. Oh, it's not you. It's this other person walking by. There's no place that you are not. I called and called for a lover, and none answered. Within the emptiness of the void, within my loneliness, I cried out again and again, only to hear the stillness within my own nothingness. I screamed out within the core of my being until I could no more. Then the earth trembled, and I became annihilated with love. So this is the search. People become lonely, and there's a certain desperation, which was necessary for humanity to go on. It was a desperation. If there wasn't a desperation with men and women, men would have stayed in their caves, women in theirs, the species would have ended. So desperation is normal. And people screaming out for that love, for that connection. Screaming out, but nothing's happening. The person hasn't found their true love. And until they can't call anymore, then all of a sudden the earth trembles and the person becomes annihilated with love. The call is put out, and somehow, in some way, the meeting happens. The meeting, the love occurs in ways that people often feel, oh, gee, was this destiny or was this accident? Often there's a sense of destiny or providence, but you can't rule out accident either, but it could be providence. From within the slumber of forgetfulness, the eye of the ancient beholder awakens and gazes into the beloved, proclaiming its own eternity. From within the slumber of forgetfulness, forgetful of what? Forgetful of what life is, forgetful of our own identity, forgetful of truly what our priority is. The eye of the ancient beholder awakens. Well, what is the eye of the ancient beholder? It's kind of a mysterious awakening. It's almost like when a lover sees a true beloved, it's like something awakens and there's nothing else exists except the lover and beloved. All that exists is them. The eye of the ancient beholder awakens, and all of a sudden nothing else exists but the lover and beloved. Time stops and gazes into beloved, proclaiming its own eternity. So at that moment, when the lover and beloved see each other, there's an awakening, time stops, and there's some sense of an eternity in that moment. That's been captured in books and movies. I'm capturing it in this poem. Love merged with itself in the void and became creation. Love merged with itself in the void and became creation. Now, this is getting even a little more mystical than the others. It's almost like when the lover and beloved see each other, there's just that one love that they're enveloped in. So it merges with itself in what was before a void or an emptiness and becomes creation itself, where it infuses us with a new sense of reality. It is a new kind of creation where we as people are recreated in that love that merged with itself. We're recreated. They always say a person in love, everything's beautiful. The sunrise is different. The sunset's different. Food tastes differently. So there is the creation. Love merged with itself in the void and became creation. The hidden dream becomes known to itself. So people might forget even what they're looking for. And then when that love occurs, the hidden dream, oh, yeah, wasn't this what I was always wanting? Or a person sees it in somebody else and they say, oh, I remember now, yes, that's what I always thought was possible. Then I didn't think it was possible, but the hidden dream becomes known to itself. My eyes cannot close in your presence, for they are opened. The inner membrane lifts and I am stunned with awe. My eyes cannot close in your presence, so the loved and beloved can't even look away. They just want to keep soaking this in before something changes, before they wake up. They're just so enamored. My eyes cannot close in your presence, for they are open. The inner membrane lifts, something inside lifts, and we're going to another dimension. And I am stunned with awe. The beauty of that other person and the beauty of the moment. It's something that maybe a person heard about, they read about, and all of a sudden they're stunned. Like, what is this? It might have lasted for a couple of seconds. I seek you. I find you. You enter as a smile in my eyes and on my lips. So we're seeking, all are seeking that profound love. And how do we find that person? It could be that person, but also that person or the beloved enters a smile. That even thinking of that person comes a smile in the eyes and on the lips. And there's a smile that pervades our whole being. That in itself is a memory of the beloved, that smile. With you in my eyes, I am more than I am. So when the union with the beloved, we become more than we were than before the union. With you in my eyes, I am more than I am. People feel they're more than they ever could have imagined being. They've become a new creation. How I have missed you. Welcome. Welcome into myself. So it could be somebody the person already has loved and maybe forgot that person a little bit and rediscovered them, or are discovering them now for the first time. How I have missed you. Welcome, welcome into myself. It could be even a new person. So how could you miss this person? You didn't know him. Well, I knew you before I knew you. I was waiting for you. It could be that. Or it could be rediscovering the beloved every day. You see the beloved, go part of your business, then later you see each other again. Oh, welcome. Oh, you are here. Welcome. Welcome into myself. Only you enter my loneliness. And that's an important aspect of the romantic experience, where people feel a certain loneliness and isolation, even though they might be happy and laughing and in some sense having a pretty decent life. But if I feel only this beloved, I'm only my true self with my beloved, only you enter my loneliness. The beloved calls, the lover falls. Even the rock melts. So pride melts, even the rock melts, no matter how a person might seem outwardly with the beloved, then a softness comes, a sweetness comes. The rock, the outer part of ourselves that might be defending ourselves against being hurt or the betrayals we've had, but all of that melts. Even the rock melts. I sought you in the eyes of all I met. I sought to be worthy through every effort I made, and I failed in all I sought and did. And then you came to me within my own being. So with always that searching for the love, people then looking in one another's eyes, looking everywhere for the beloved, and failing, or finding somebody, think, this is it. And if I know this is not it, I'm not that beloved, that's not the beloved. And then you came to me within my own being, and I danced for the moment that is mine, the stars, the night, the moon, the fire of my life, I am yours. The instinctual desire to truly, totally give ourselves to another person, to want to totally give ourselves, to abandon ourselves in spite of whatever insecurities, fears, bad experiences we've had, hurts, abandonments, but still the desire to give ourselves so totally to be one with another human being. You are the treasure, the cause for which I live. So in the deepest, we're talking the deepest, most profound romantic sense, the treasure, the cause for which I live. The lover lives for the beloved lives for the lover. So some people could look at that as pathological. We're talking in the deepest poetic, mythical, archetypal sense. We're not talking necessarily on a day-to-day practical basis, but this is what drives the earth plane. This is what drives the day-to-day. You are the treasure, the cause for which I live. In the flame of union's desire, the lover as soul yearns to blazon out and mix in perfect oneness with the beloved. There is that desire to be one, be totally one with the other. As the soul just come out of our eyes and just totally mix and to be one. Because sometimes just the existence in a separate existence becomes overwhelming, tiring, too much. And then desire to just totally mix and be one with another as a relief from that isolation. Again, this can be interpreted in terms of a man and a woman. It could be interpreted in terms of a human with God. This could be interpreted at many levels. In the power of union, there are no walls. The beings surge. Their innermost essences pour into one stunning, transforming fusion. So that power of union, where there be no walls, where there's just that total mixing, that oneness, this is a very basic, primordial wish to totally merge with another human being where there isn't even a memory of our own identities for some period of time to totally do that. At the same time, people fear the loss of their own boundaries, but also to totally merge with another. Your voice is my peace. Your eyes, my being. You are the blood of my life, the pulse in my veins and heart. You are the mystery that gives meaning to all existence. And here we talk about the person so much a part of us. Hearing that person's voice is the peace. It's actually the music, the rhythm that our whole being is dancing to. You're the blood of my life, the pulse. The blood that actually goes through me is this person's name, this person's identity. And it's a mystery. It gives meaning to all existence. When a person has love or is in love, everything has meaning. But when there is no love, even if a person has wealth and all the material things, it's all meaningless. It has to be that love and that belonging and that oneness to have that. So this is a description of the romantic experience. I took you through it as best I could in terms of the poetry, which again is at the basic archetypal level. And it generates all love relationships, but then there are various withholdings, issues that come up. And then it also, when we have that kind of connection that resembles us to another human being, then it leads to other aspects that are not as pleasant. For example, once you have that with somebody, you have this, well, the next natural feeling is not to lose it. You don't want to lose this. You treasure this. You want to be able to keep this. Well, then a person then becomes, and it's natural. When we have love for another person, there's a certain degree of possessiveness that goes with it. Because you don't want to lose. This is the greatest thing I found in my whole life. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it by doing something to anger that person or the person to feel upset with me. But I certainly don't want to lose this person to another person either. So there's a certain degree of possessiveness that goes on. That in itself is not necessarily unhealthy. It's normal. It just depends whether it stays within reasonable bounds. But then also with that possessiveness then comes a certain degree of jealousy that's normal in a love relationship. I mean, gee, you're talking to that person for that long. I mean, do you want to be with that person? Or would you rather be with me? Which is it? I'd like to know right now. Oh, you want to be with me? Okay, good. And so, because why? What's the source of that possessiveness? What's the source of that jealousy? It's the oneness. It's the romantic experience that the other part goes. So there wouldn't be the possessiveness. There wouldn't be the jealousy if you weren't in love with the person. So it kind of goes together. Now, some people feel very controlled by that jealousy, by that possessiveness. It's very hard on some people. So it depends how extreme it is. A certain amount it's okay. It's healthy. If it gets pathological, you just want to lock the person up and just have that person for yourself, then we're talking about something that's not healthy. So in and of itself, it's not a bad thing, and it goes with the territory. And so now we talk about, now when that happens, the person's feeling, gee, you have this jealousy, you're starting to feel, really possessed. Then the person can become resentful. You're too demanding. You're too insecure, or whatever you start hearing. I'm a free person here. Then that's a problem. Then it sets up a polarity and a situation that's not good. So in the ideal sense, and again, this doesn't happen that often. In the ideal sense, the wish of the lover is not the command of the beloved, but rather the wish of the lover becomes the actual wish of the beloved. Mm-hmm. So I'm not controlled by your wish. In fact, your wish becomes my wish. When that happens, and it's rare, but when it happens where the wish of the beloved becomes our wish, well, there's no conflict. But if you see, there's your wish, and then it's my wish, and I don't want to feel like a ball and chain around me, then you have a terrible issue, and a jealousy that could become really a green-eyed monster. But if that's what you wish, then that's what I wish. And that can be dealt with in the mind-body workout system. We're going to come back to that. As a matter of fact, if a person decides to use that as a way of thinking, gee, you're jealous of me, you're possessive, but I don't want to upset you. So a person can take a power thought. Your wish is my wish. Now, a person doesn't have to choose that. Somebody says, well, that's sick. From a Western point of view, it's not so much from an Eastern point of view, but in the West, that we consider, an enmeshed situation. But it's certainly an option. If it's your wish, it becomes my wish. So this is one approach, and a person can take the mind-body workout and goes, your wish is my wish. 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 And so it doesn't become the two different wishes. So a person can use that, if they so desire, to overcome feeling controlled by the other person's possessiveness. Again, that's an option. I would suggest that it's a lot better than feeling controlled. And you get to a point of saying, I'm going to have to end this thing. Or if you're in love with a person, well, I'm not going to be controlled by it because that's my wish too. So the other part of it is, it's a statement that goes, I love you, I need you, I cannot bear to lose you even for an instant. I trust you, but cannot trust my own thoughts, which gravitate to the painful idea. So the person says, well, why are you always, calling me? Well, don't you trust me? Say, I trust you, but I get all these thoughts of, maybe you're talking. So I need protection from my own thoughts. So so it's important, if you have that insecurity, if a person has some jealousy, to not necessarily make an accusation about the other person. You're asking the person to call once in a while or whatever you need, because you don't want to get carried away with your own thoughts. Say, gee, I know he's working with that coworker. She's very good looking. I wonder if he's flirting with her, And I know he's not, but I shouldn't have this thought, but I'm getting upset thinking about it. So, hey, call up and then you say, okay, if you could call me, every couple of hours or whatever, keep me from killing myself with these crazy thoughts. Again, what's the source of all this? The source is you fell in love. And then once you felt that love and that exquisite experience, then you go into, I don't want to lose this. Once you say, I don't want to lose this, then all of this follows. If you say, I'm willing to lose it, and that's pretty hard to do. You say, this is the best thing I ever found. Who's going to say, this is the best thing I ever found, and I don't care if I lose it? Who's going to have that? This is the best thing I ever found, and I don't want to lose it. I'll do anything to keep this. So then you say, have mercy upon me and spare me from the angry, jealous thoughts which destroy me. Please, I am powerless. I am in your hands. I beg of you, please do not take that which evokes my jealousy. Do not do that which evokes my jealousy. So it's not saying the person is not trustworthy or would be unfaithful or do something wrong. You say, my life's in your hands. We have a responsibility to those that love us. You say, again, a person has a choice to go along with this or not. If they go along with it, then things can move along in a harmonious fashion. So these are some of the aspects. But now, in a very practical sense, a person can say, well, you have this jealousy, this possessiveness of me. That's your problem. If I want to talk to this guy and I want to take this trip with him, there's nothing going on. I'm going to take a trip with him. It's business. And if you have a problem, get some therapy. You need some help. That's their reaction. Is that reasonable? Yeah, in a Western sense, yeah. So the guy can go get his therapy, try to deal with it, whatever. And but that's tough. It's almost practically an unnatural thing for a person to have to deal with. But a person can say, look, it's my life. I'm going to take this trip. I got to take this thing. In fact, he happens to be a good-looking guy, and I'm on a plane with him. We're being in the same hotel. We're doing a business deal. What am I going to do? So deal with it. Well, the other one could be, if it bothers you, I don't have to do this. I can take a different flight. I can stay at a different hotel because I want to accommodate you. I don't want to make you upset. That's the other way to go. Certainly that person has a choice to do whatever way they want to go. I personally would recommend that. Say, if it bothers you, on a different flight than he is going, and I'll say at a different hotel, would that take care of your sense of jealousy? I would. So, okay. And I recommend that. But that's my approach. Some people would say, no, it has nothing to do with you. It's his problem. Let him deal with it. Do whatever you want to do. I don't agree with that myself. But I understand that viewpoint. In theory, that works. In reality, you destroy relationships. So I look at it as highly destructive to that. So the idea that I would recommend is to accommodate the person's insecurities within realms. If you have to have a talk with a colleague for 5 minutes, you say, I'm going to work, I got to talk to this guy for 5 minutes. But you don't have to go out for a drink afterwards, but I got to talk to this guy for 5 minutes. That's reasonable. You can say that's part of the job. I don't have to go out for a drink. Or if I go out for a drink, we go out with all the staff and it's a group and we're all doing this as business and mixing business and pleasure together. But I'm not alone with the guy. It's like 10 of us all sitting around the table. So there are ways that I would recommend if a person wants to keep a relationship and keep it healthy and keep it from becoming destructive, to accommodate as much as you possibly can the person's insecurities and possessiveness, to accommodate it as much as possible. As long as it doesn't get pathological, I say accommodate it. Again, your wish is my wish. Another power thought is, I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. You do the workout, keep repeating it. I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. Yes, I do. Then amplify. I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. Yes, I do. I have a profound responsibility to those that love me. Yes, I really do. So you get an amplifier in there. So there's responsibility. And that's a very different orientation than saying, there's my life and your life, and you deal with your issues and I deal with mine. That's a definite ingredient for failure in a relationship. Absolutely guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. People have tried that. It doesn't work. There's got to be some kind of reasonable accommodation and recognition and responsibility to those that love me, because a lot of times the other person cannot control some of those thoughts and feelings. They can't totally control it. If people could control their jealousy, they wouldn't have it. They say, hey, this is irrational. Why should I feel jealous? I know this person's not going to go sleep with somebody. It's irrational. So if people could just tell themselves not to have it, they say, who wants it? So it's not something, a thought that person chose to have. Now, on the other hand, somebody who's feeling jealousy because they're concerned of losing this person or the person betraying them, whatever, then that person needs to take the thought, I completely trust you. I want to trust you. I will trust you. Really. I do trust you. Really. Even if I have my uncertainties, I do trust you. Really. You might need a shield penetrator because you're having some doubts. You're talking together pretty often. So, okay. Even if I have my uncertainties, in reality, I do trust you. Really. So I use a shield penetrator. Even if I have my uncertainties, in reality, I do trust you. Really. Now, when people have a doubt, sometimes people come to my office and they wonder about their spouse or significant other. And I say, there's one of two things to do. Either get a private eye and find out whether something's going on, put your mind at rest, and if they're doing something, dump them. If they're not doing something, get over it. Or if you're not going to do that, which most people don't want to do, I say then make the choice to trust them. If you're not going to get a private eye, why sit around thinking the worst and torturing yourself? Might as well say, I choose to trust you. So the power thought there, I choose to trust her. I choose to trust her. Really. I really do choose to trust her. I really do choose to trust her. I trust you. I do trust you now and forever. I do trust you now and forever. I trust you. Even with my uncertainties, I do trust you now and forever. Really, I do. I love you and I trust you. So that you have the power to keep repeating it all day long, to internalize that, to help get over some of that, because might as well trust is a choice. You can have your doubts, but it's a choice. So you should make that choice to trust. That's healthy. You might as well give the person benefit of the doubt rather than sitting around worrying all the time. That's a terrible way to live. So so we've dealt with the jealousy and romance. Again, jealousy being very tied to the romantic experience. And I described the romantic experience poetically in this very archetypal sense. And then the mind-body workout system is a way on both sides of that, the one who's jealous and the one who's the object of the jealousy, power thoughts that can be used on both sides to overcome those feelings. So now I'll open to any questions or comments that you may want to have, answer your questions about jealousy or romance. Yeah.
Would it be healthy to look at it in a narcissistic point of view, where you try and love yourself before you decide to push your love out to everybody else?
Okay, so the question, many people, well, the issue that most people say is you got to love yourself before you can love other people. Now, there's some question what it means to love ourselves exactly. A person can say, I love myself. Well, what does that mean, I love myself? Well, a person loves themselves. Certainly, they ought to take care of their bodies. They ought to eat properly, exercise. If they have something bother them, go to the doctor. That'll be self-love. I mean, you take care of yourself. That's not a separate thing then from also saying, I'm going to make sure I feed you and make sure you're okay. So I don't think you have to have that for yourself. First, the fact the person may have so much feeling for another person that they neglect themselves and they're just giving to that person. Either way could work. in a sense, a person might be able to give a great deal of love to that person and not pay that much attention to their own needs. That could be a problem, or it might not be. That might work for that relationship. On the other hand, it's good to take care of ourselves. So what does taking care of ourselves mean? Well, again, it could be eating properly, exercising, getting a job we like that we don't feel trapped by, getting some rest, getting some recreation some of the time. This is all part of it. But when it comes to a love relationship, it goes like this. A person can say, I want to take a trip to Japan, and it'd be nice if you want to come along. I want to go to Japan. It'd be nice if you come along. Because I'm going to go if you don't come, but it'd be nice if you came because I love you. That's a whole orientation. The other orientation is, I want to be with you in every situation we can be with. I'd love to be with you in Japan. Would you like to go? If you want to go, let's go. If you don't want to go, let's go somewhere else. So the focus then is you, our relationship. Japan is just another place for us to be in. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to Japan. It'd be nice to have you. If you don't, see you later. I'm going. So it's two different orientations. One is I want to be with you and experience our relationship in as many different varieties as I can. If it's not Japan, let's go to New Jersey or wherever you want to go. It's okay, some other place. That's a very different thing. So in both cases, you're taking care of yourself. You're going someplace, you need a vacation. But the real vacation is this person, being with this person. Actually, sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is look after this person. This person's happiness, their well-being could be the thing that makes you happiest in the world. The thing that would really you really want to take care of yourself, you make sure this person's happy. This person's happy, they make you happy, and everything moves along in a beautiful way. So often, that is taking care of yourself, devoting yourself to this human being. Could be the greatest thing of doing for yourself. It's a little different orientation of saying, I would do this for me, and then I have something to give you. No, if I do this for you and I take care of you, that's the best thing I can do for me. It's a different orientation. A lot of people don't have that. They say, well, I got to take care of myself. I'm going to go do this, and the other thing, and they have their boundaries. And that works for people. I'm not saying they shouldn't. My own style is more focused on the other, give to the other, and make sure they're okay as much as possible. Then, of course, you have to go on with life and look after your responsibilities and take care of various aspects in our lives. So I would say love of the other person, expressing love to the other person could well be the best example of loving ourselves. Of course, the opposite thing, you don't take care of that person, they make you miserable. And that could happen to you. You don't take care of it. You're neglecting that person. I'm running around having fun. I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to go do this, that, and the other thing. That person gets miserable and nags you to death and is bothering you all the time. And you don't want to dump the person, but you don't know what to do with them, and they're making you miserable. Is that taking care of yourself? You say, no, this is person, oh, you're baggage, you're bothering me, you're nagging me, and you're miserable. Well, if you look after that person, you can have a happy partner in life with you. So there's a lot to be said for taking care of ourselves by looking after this other person. And I recommend that very highly. It's very different than what used to be. It used to be, everything was done by boundaries. I'm take care of me, you take care of you. And if we can meet in the middle from time to time, that's beautiful. That was one whole orientation. That didn't work. It really didn't work.
Do you think it helps or might even be essential that the other person is just fundamentally reasonable?
It really helps if the other person is fundamentally reasonable. And it also helps, some people, you give an inch, they take a mile. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. You give an inch, they take a mile. It's really best if you give an inch and they give a mile. That's a beautiful situation. Or you give an inch and they give an inch, whatever. But if it's a type of relationship, you give an inch, they take a mile, then you've got a problem. Then you've got yourself attached to pain. You've got yourself really attached to a bottomless pit, to a tough situation. And that could be a real tough one. It might need to be ended or amended, whatever could be done. And there are those types of situations, and they're very destructive. A lot of these things, you have to way down the line. You already had the romantic experience, then you find out all the rest that goes with it. Now, of course, one of the best ways to know more about this person is you say, if you're a man and you're in love with a woman, one of the best ways is to be parents. Most likely she's going to be like her mother, or in some cases, more like the father. be like the father. Usually be more like the mother. So you look at the mother. If you don't like the mother, that's not a good sign. But that's probably how she's going to become. Let's say, for instance, it's a typical situation. You're like your father as a man. You're more like your father, and she's more like her mother. Let's take that pretty typical thing. Here's one question you could ask. How would it be for my father to be married to her mother? If you can't see that, that's not a good sign. They would never get along. Well, that's a good sign that the mother that's internalized in her and your father's internalized in you, it's not going to happen. But if you say, yeah, if they met under the circumstance, I could see my father could be married to a mother, that's a good sign. Or you meet the mother and say, I like the mother. You know, if my woman turns out like that 40 years from now, I'll be happy. Like the way she looks, the way she is. It's a good sign. She looks at the father and says, I like this guy. If he was like his father 40 years from now, that's wonderful. So these are some of the signs of meeting the parents that tell you a lot. It's not a perfect story, but it tells a lot. Because otherwise, I mean, there's so many surprises, but by meeting the parents, it cuts down on some of the surprises. Back in the day, you know, two families, you know, small towns or a village or whatever, they'll say, you know, my son I think might do well with your daughter. What do you think? You think they should meet or whatever? So they have a party and they meet, you know. Not necessarily arranged marriage, but they have a chance to meet because the parents knew each other and they thought the kids would hit it off. Or even an arranged marriage, you know, in some countries. You know, the father goes one to the other, says, you know, I think our kids will do well with each other, let them meet and see what they think of each other. But there, because the parents have some idea what the children's needs are and what their personalities are like. And certainly as protection in many cultures and religions, you get the consent of the parents. If parents against the marriage, often that will be a bad sign. Oh, I don't think that's good for you to marry this person. It's a bad sign. Because, yeah, I like this. This looks like a good marriage. That's a good sign. Again, the parent is not infallible, and they may have other agendas going on. But overall, it's a safety net. If your parents are for it, and the other person's parents are for it, that's a good sign. If they're against it, it's a bad sign. There's no certainties in this whole matter. But these are some of the aspects, practical aspects to romance. The romantic experience has its own life, but then whether it has to go into a marriage or not, there's some very practical considerations that we go into in that. Now, very often a woman can be more generous about giving than a man. Generally speaking, men tend to be more self-centered and selfish. Tend to be. It's not an infallible rule. So most men need a power thought that goes like this. I will put my woman's needs before my own. I will put my woman's needs before my own. It could be as a variator. The reality of my woman, or say my wife, the reality of my wife is more important to me than my own reality. My wife's perceptions and needs are more important to me than my own perceptions and needs. Most men need that. They will never succeed in achieving that thought, but need to move in that direction. For most men, that's an important power thought. For many women, that wouldn't hurt either. It would be good, but definitely the men need that. Somebody might feel that's dangerous to do, that might feel there's some real character flaw in the other. They don't want to use that power thought. I'm talking about in a normal situation. That's a really good power thought to have. I will put my wife's needs before my own. And for some women, I'll put my husband's needs before my own. These can be ways to get us out of just being stuck at our own perspective and reacting in a very self-centered way. Because I will have great compassion for my spouse. But the most powerful one is I'll put my spouse's needs before my own. Her reality is more important than my own reality. That's extremely powerful and will lead to many, many benefits to have that. Again, it's a variation of what we talked about earlier. Your wish is my wish. That's one way to eliminate conflict, when the other person's wish becomes your wish. But what do you want? You want that? That's what I want. I wanted this, but you know what? If you don't like that, you want this, I want to do what you want. When you have that, that's a really good way to go. If you have that in you to give it. Now, if you don't have it in to give, you can't do it. But you can keep the power thought and build yourself up to having that power. It's a great power. Eliminates a lot of problems. Of course, we'll reach some issues where we can't do that. Say, no, I stand on this one. I draw a line on this one. I have to. But that's pretty rare, far in between. Most of the times we can say, if it matters to you that much, I want to accommodate you.
But then you still find that acceptance on one side or the other, depending on the decision. Like, if the person wanted to believe that this person's decisions were right, you say, I will accept your position on this?
Person could say, I'm going to accept your position. I don't agree with it, or I do agree with it, and let's do it. Or I don't agree with it, but you're more important to me than anything, so I want to do this just because you want that. And that's also, even if it's wrong, I'm behind you. And just go with that basis. So you don't have to necessarily agree. We agree to disagree, but I'm still going to go along with what you want because I love you and I don't want you miserable. It looks like it's going to make you miserable if we don't do it, so I'll do it.
So you keep your intellectual integrity, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You agree to disagree, and then you go
Check
along
your
with it.
brain and your awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though.
Yeah, exactly. That works. Now, again, at some points we just have drawn a boundary here and you're going to keep to it. That could come up in a relationship. It's if it does come, it's best. If it doesn't come up too often, we have to draw a hard and fast line. Any other comments or questions?
Do you think that some people do not trust completely as a defense mechanism against worse hurt if betrayed? And so a part of them feels it's serving, and they remain open to seeing relevant data
To confirm the mistrust.
To confirm the mistrust, so it's a protective mechanism.
Yeah, there are people who will keep a mistrust to protect themselves, and then will find data and experience to say, see, I knew I couldn't trust you. You did X, Y, and Z, and therefore you can't be trusted. It just confirms what I always knew. I can't totally trust you. And the person may have that because they fear being betrayed. There might be some reality to it. On the other hand, there might not be. The other thing could be one possible way of dealing with. Even if I'm hurt, even if I get hurt, I'd rather love you and abandon myself to you and get hurt. I can deal with the hurt. I love you. I'm giving you my trust. If I get hurt, I can live with that. I can live with the betrayal and the hurt. I love you. I can deal with the hurt of an intimate relationship. I can deal with the hurt of an intimate relationship. I can deal with the hurt of an intimate relationship. So that thought, I can deal with the hurt of an intimate relationship. I welcome an intimate relationship even if I get hurt. I welcome an intimate relationship even if I got hurt. I welcome an intimate relationship even if I get hurt. I welcome an intimate relationship even if I get hurt. So the first day, a person will say it every 5 minutes and twice an hour thereafter. And you may end up, probably will get some amount of hurt. You can count on a certain amount of hurt coming. But it doesn't have to annihilate you. As a matter of fact, when a person is betrayed, they can be destroyed by it, or they can have, through the law of tribulation, say, I'll become more powerful from this betrayal. I'm not going to become a bitter old person from it. I will gain power from this spiritually, emotionally, and physically. This is strengthening me. And a person can draw that strength and knowledge and wisdom from it. Peter?
Well, I was going to bring up the tribulation.
Yeah.
Maybe a variator on the tribulation.
Yeah.
Shield penetrating.
Yeah. There you go. So a person say, even though I may get hurt, I welcome this relationship. Even though I may get hurt, I welcome this relationship. I treasure it while I have her. I treasure while I have her. Even if I get hurt, I treasure the relationship. Even if I get hurt, I treasure the relationship. Thing in life that you don't want to have, you don't want to be at the end of your life and say, God, I really regret that I never didn't go for this one relationship that I really think could have worked out. You don't want to have that regret. It's better to lift the wings and go with it, and at the end say, well, it didn't work, but I went for it. It's a very different philosophy. Say, I sailed my wings, I went for it, didn't work out, but I went for the dream. That's a better ending in life than, I regret I didn't really go for my true love. I didn't go for whatever reason. Pete?
I think you could rationalize, though, your end of your life scenario that you just mentioned with this, the thankfulness for unanswered prayers. In other words, sometimes it's better to say, boy, I'm sure glad I didn't get that.
Well, that could be too. Person could be really glad. Person might say, person might, for instance, let's say a person falls in love with somebody, but has some real doubts about their character, sees that person, that woman marry somebody else, go through a divorce, just really was unfaithful to him, and then tried to get all the money out of him. Just some hypothetical situation. Say, boy, I'm sure glad I didn't get mixed up with her. That could happen. On the other hand, they usually don't have access to that kind of information, and You don't want to feel the regret that you didn't go for it. You say, this is the person I love most in my life. And not going for that could be a regret. Chris Rock has a joke. I mean, it's not even a joke. He says, you're getting into a fight, your wife's mad at you, and she never tells you the real reason. And he says, the real reason was you weren't her first choice. Or being married to someone in a relationship, always thinking about somebody else. Yeah, my true love was such and such. Those are some tragic things. It's good not to be caught in that tragedy. Sometimes people get caught, but that's not a positive.
Be a power thought to deal with regret.
With regret?
I don't think regret's really good or beneficial.
Yeah. Okay, if you have a regret, okay, a person says this, I made a mistake, and I will draw power from that mistake. I have a regret, but I'm going to draw power from that. It's strengthening my will not to make that mistake again. I made a mistake, but as I give my son advice, my daughter advice, you advice, I don't want you to make that mistake. So I'm giving you this guidance based on what happened to me. So it makes us power to give advice, gives us power to have more compassion, and could strengthen our own will. I won't make that mistake again. I will draw power from this regret. I made a mistake, I have regret, and I'm going to draw power from it. I made a mistake, I have regret, and I'm drawing power from it emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I am drawing power from this tribulation in every way. I keep repeating that. So you're not denying the regret. You're not denying there's been a mistake. There's drawing power from the law, stated in the law of tribulation. And so therefore, it's not a wasted experience. There's a sense of hope because something comes out of it. And there's a sense of dignity within it because you're drawing power and you're dealing with it in a dignified fashion instead of just complaining, saying, I'm drawing great power from this mistake, from this regret that I have. The law of tribulation is a way to salvage anything. It's a good salvager.
That's a good law.
That's a good one, yeah.
I use it a lot.
Do you? Yeah, wow. See, that's good, Pete. Yeah.
One thing I've used in helping someone help me trust them and have them not take it personally is just say, I've learned that I need to let a man earn my trust. And that has nothing to do with you. It's just from hurts in the past. But could you please help me? And I'm placing my bets on you that you are the man
help me trust
I will
you.
ultimately fully trust. So help me in that
help me
process
trust you.
Of getting
Wow. Help me to trust you. That's a good way to do it. It's a building a bridge instead of saying, I'll never trust anybody, including you, saying, I need your help to trust you because I've had all these experiences. I think saying, I need your help to help me trust you, the person would motivate them to say, well, what can I do? And of course, time will tell with that. It's always a matter of time and different situations and showing that you've stayed true. But I think it'll
gradually that trust does grow, so they're rewarded for that help. And
a person can ask to have that trust earned. Also, it's a statement made, I want to choose to trust you. I do trust you, but I'd like to trust to even get stronger, and I need your help for it to get even stronger. So it's not that I mistrust you because I have no basis to mistrust you.
In fact, I'm placing my bets on you.
So I do trust you, but I need it to grow and become more internalized, and I need your help with that. So that's a reasonable request. In talking about this, I saw a lot of good eye contact. Everybody has issues with this. Every human being on the planet has this. Every human being listening to it on a DVD or CD or relating to these issues. It's a universal situation. With the mind-body workout system, we have tools for overcoming any sense of powerlessness about it, of taking command of our own direction of constructive thinking. We want a correct way of looking at it. We want to have a way to have constructive direction to our thought. We may still get negative thoughts, doubts, jealousies, insecurities, but at the same time, we want to move in a constructive direction and not sabotage the relationship through the jealousy and the possessiveness. Every one of us have dealt with this over time, and that's been from the beginning of time, and it always will be there. And here are some of the answers and ways of dealing with it. Again, I want to thank everybody for really being with me as I've been talking and as inspiring me to say these things to you. I'm grateful. I'm honored to be here with you. Bye for now.